going to start it off with okay, I'd like to first say that I recognize that some of the things that I find gross or cringy in other people probably has something to do with myself. But I am having shivers over here.
But I'm more so curious if anyone else has this problem. We've talked about this at length. If you know me in real life, you know that people chewing, smacking, making weird noises with their mouth. Sometimes even myself, when I listen back to this podcast and I have mealy mouth on the mic, I'm so sorry. I can't stand it. It's an actual problem.
Okay, everyone has their texture things. I want to hear what other people's texture problems are. I think I don't like my hands feeling dry. Welcome back and happy Tuesday, turkeys. How long have we known each other?
We've known each other for 2 decades.
I am not apologizing for who I am or what I like or the people that I love.
How do I be a wife? How do I be a mom? And how do I be myself and all of that? You didn't see that coming, did you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, Kermit the Frog.
Now we're back. That was random. Thank you for that.
Now we're back. All right. I'm sore. Okay. Well, this week, this is our last Goofy Goober episode This is our last Goofy Goober episode, and then we'll be dipping our toe into another series.
Another mini-series coming your way next week in September. I'm very excited for that one.
Very excited to say it's September. It will be our Adulting 101 series where we just break down some things that we feel like we did not learn / still don't really understand. So we're going to do some deep dives and hopefully help people out. And yeah, but until then, here is a nice light discussion of things that make us cringe / are gross / ew.
Well, I have many. No, I'm kidding. Hey, turkeys, real quick, we want to tell you about our fun new free craft corner. Every quarter, in line with the equinox or solstice, we are going to send out new farts and crafts projects. You can find the link in the show notes. Just drop us your email. We promise not to spam you, but we'd love for you to join us. Now back to the show. Yep, I'm excited to get into this.
I'm going to start it off with okay, I'd like to first say that I recognize that some of the things that I find gross or cringy in other people probably has something to do with myself, but it's fine. I'll journal about it later. So the first thing is people who are overly braggy about themselves.
I feel like that's valid. I don't think that's a thing that is an internal struggle unless there's something I'm not thinking about, but I just feel like it's icky.
Okay, it comes up often. I don't, but see, here's the thing is I don't know if they're being overly. I don't know. I think we can all agree at some point. I'm wondering if my threshold is a little bit low.
I see.
But whatever. It's neither here nor there. It makes me so uncomfortable when people are just really just tooting on the old horn about themselves.
Well, I agree. There's a line. Yeah, maybe your line is a little bit closer than others, but there's definitely a line of being confident and then just being like, you're coming off as a douche. Like, just stop. Just stop.
Because there's definitely things about myself or skills or whatever that I'm confident in, but I don't think I would wander about and just proclaim them.
Yeah, unless it naturally came up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the way in which I would do it would still be very tempered. I could maybe help with that some.
Exactly.
Maybe.
But don't take my advice. But don't listen to me.
Here's an idea, but I don't know. Okay. Anyway, moving along.
Okay. I would like to know if anyone else has this problem. I'm eternally grossed out by touching raw meat. We have had these discussions offline. I know this doesn't really pertain to anyone else, but I'm more so curious if anyone else has this problem. I do just need to invest in some disposable gloves, but it's just so nasty. And I think the smell gets me. And it's just, I love protein, but when you look at it raw, I just don't want to touch it. It's the worst part about cooking for me.
So funny. We've had this discussion at length. I did on my list put that one smell that raw chicken has.
Ooh.
Because it's not every time. It's not every chicken, but there's like certain times. And then there's other times where it's too slimy. There's some times that it's gross. I think I just don't fixate on it. But every once in a while, I'll have a moment. And I definitely could not prep food in-depthly first thing in the morning. I feel sensitive to smells and gagging first thing in the morning.
It's
This
a good
is
thing I'm not
universal, people. I'm not pregnant.
I was going to say, it's also a good thing I'm not pregnant at the moment, because just talking about this was kind of giving me like stomach flips, and it would have been way worse if I was pregnant. Because when I was pregnant, it was like times 100.
Well, we'll have to figure out some glove situations for you. Okay, everyone has their texture things. I want to hear what other people's texture problems are. And I've been trying to winnow down what my texture issues are all about, and I can't really tell you, but here's a list of some texture issues that I have. Anything that feels like it's drying out my hands. So, like, I hate soapstone. We have soapstone coasters. If my hands are wet and I touch it, and
Like
I hate
the porous vegetable peeler I sent you.
Yes. Okay. Kayla sent me this lovely vegetable peeler, and I think it's because my hands were freshly out of the shower, so they were extra wet, but it had such a weird napkin feel on the handle, and I haven't gone back to touch it again because I haven't had to peel something, but I'm pretty sure that was more of a situational problem, and I will get over it. I could never be a gymnast for numerous reasons, but one of them does include the chalk.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know how people put chalk on their hands. Jason has hand chalk for when he like lifts weights at the gym, and I think I don't like my hands feeling dry.
Yeah, I can see that.
Rubbing paper towels together.
Yes.
I hate it. I can hear it. It's giving me goosebumps. It's taken me until my adulthood to touch paper towels because they used to give me the cringe at all in general. So I've exposure therapied myself where they don't like absolutely disturb me to the ends of the earth, but the rubbing of them together. And every once in a while, if my hands are like in a weird space, just grabbing them is horrid. Also, clean clothes without fabric softener.
I was going to say clothes with really dry hands, like jeans. I can't.
Especially when they have no fabric softener and they're kind of crunchy, like a cotton t-shirt where it's kind of crunched. I am having shivers over here, and I'll do it. But like the other day, I put one on because we were out of fabric softener. I put it on, and it was like crunchy, and then the armpits were rubbing together. It was just like wearing napkins. Okay.
There's a lot of noises happening in the background of my house. Okay, here's something that maybe is a sensory issue for Kayla, and we'll get to the main one. But just sitting down like in a public area, I've been in numerous situations, I don't know why, but if I'm sitting down and there's like a crowd behind me, or I'm in the back of a pathway and people bump my chair, it could be the most tiniest, little tiny of my chair, and I'm just like, stop touching my chair. I just can't get off of me, especially when it's behind me. I think that's a problem for me. That is a pattern in my life. But when people bump into my chair, especially the second and on time, I will literally move my chair or get up and like go somewhere else because I can't stand it. I know that's very irrational.
You would have a hard time in a movie theater for kids sat behind you.
Oh yeah, like plane rides when someone's kicking. There's been a couple times where I'm like, hey buddy, can you stop? Keep your feet to yourself. Like, I'll turn around and say something. Like,
it's like, boom, 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 boom.
Or Kenny will switch seats with me because he's nicer and he doesn't mind.
Sometimes I just hit a point of critical mass and I can't return to a natural state of interacting with the world.
I'm in flight or fight, and I can't control my sensory issues.
Yeah. The overstimulation hits like peak, and then I'm dead. Okay. I'm sure other people have this one, but when you cook something and then you have to let it soak overnight, when you legitimately have to let it soak overnight, just not the pretend kind, so you don't have to do the dishes.
Oh, I got you. I thought you were like marinating something. Okay.
Oh, no, like a pot, like a dirty pan, or like an oven that you've baked with. I am so disgusted by having to stick my hand back in the cold water in the morning. And I don't know why, because it's my own food and it's my own house and it's my own germs or lack thereof. But Jason does this lovely thing where he will put his like spoon in that water because he's going to soak his spoon with it. And I could stick my hand in the warm water and pull it out and not be bothered. But sticking my hand into the mystery cold water to grab his peanut butter spoon in the morning.
I knew it was peanut butter.
Makes me so sad. And then I don't want to. Why don't you just dump it out? Because it's in the garbage disposal side. And I've dumped so many spoons down the garbage disposal that I then have to fish out. And even though I know that it's not just going to turn on, it might. And I don't like sticking my hand down there.
You and me 100% alike. It's funny because I was going to say, I love my husband with nothing more than with everything in my body. But he will put also silverware in my soaking thing that maybe don't even need soaking. I'm like, just put it anywhere else because I don't want to have to reach my fingers in there. It's so nasty for some reason.
It is. It's so gross. I think it's because when it gets cold, then the fat skims the top. Because otherwise, if I'm rinsing it out the next morning, I'm just grabbing it by the corners and dumping it out. I am not touching that water. And I've told him this, I'm like, so many times, just put it in the dishwasher or put it next to it in the sink. Please stop putting it in the water. It's just such a habit for him. He mentally tries when he thinks of it. Especially,
and I get it.
Yeah, it's logical. It's not, my thing is not, but I try to not have a lot of things. And this is one of them because that grosses me out. Also, the dishwasher grosses me out. I use it. It's great. I'm a lazy piece of shit when it comes to cleaning dishes by hand, but the dishwasher is so gross.
I could never be in the waiting business because I don't want to touch plates and dish soap things and people's food stuff. I could never do that.
Other people's food grosses me out too. Other people's plates, besides mine and Jason. I mean, even when we have family get together, sometimes I'm like, but if I'm not the one cooking, I just tell myself we have to get over it because we are going to help clean up. But every once in a while, especially if somebody uses a bunch of sauces and smears it about the plate.
Or if someone is ham hocking the napkin, Kaylee, I think about you sometimes when one of my beloved family members comes over and the napkin looks like a wet wipe at the end of the day. Like it's all open and crumpled and see-through because it's been so utilized. And I'm just like, oh my God, the noise.
I was in pain as a kid where I had to use cloth napkins because napkins bothered me so much. And I didn't have a bunch of sensory issues or anything, but that one really drove me nuts. And I'm really used to just not using a napkin now. I eat really particularly with my hands so they don't get messy. Or if I'm eating ribs or something, I just go all in until I'm done.
I get up and wash my hands. Yep.
Yeah, and then I have to drink my water with the butts of my hands because my fingers are dirty. But I just make them messy and then I wash them when I'm finished. Especially because half the time it sticks to you. It doesn't even do anything. So I've got all of that is to say I've gotten good at not using napkins. And Jason didn't know this about me. And I think for the first couple of years we were dating, he thought that I was just super into the environment and trying not to use paper products.
Oh my God.
Not that I just don't enjoy and now just have a habit of not using them. And he still will, because he's nice, well, we don't use napkins because we're not bougie. I don't know if napkins are bougie. They feel like it. We just use paper towels, the little halfies, and he folds them in half and it looks like a napkin. And who cares? Because then you don't have to buy a separate product that you have to store somewhere. But he will fold up a bunch of his little dinner napkin paper towels and then he always puts one on me. Like, here you go. And then I take it off and set it up back on the table because I'm not going to use it. It's a nice thought. And
That's
then
adorable.
every once in a while, I'll look at me and be like, what's this again? I'm just not out of the habit, man.
Okay. Too great. Oh, speaking of sensory issues, okay. Is it my turn? Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about this at length. If you know me in real life, you know that people chewing, smacking, making weird noises with their mouth. Sometimes even myself, when I listen back to this podcast and I have mealy mouth on the mic, I'm so sorry. I can't stand it. It's an actual problem. I'd like to say I haven't been clinically diagnosed yet, but I'm pretty sure I have misophonia. I just can't. The noises, I don't know why it started or how it started, but ever since I can remember, especially the gum smacking. When we were in school, and people would be crinkling bags or tapping their pencils or chomping on gum. Thank God, I think we had a gum rule back in the day. It drove me crazy. So then when I got to college, there is no rules. And people are smacking and chip-chapping on everything. I luckily had the freedom in college to get up, especially in those big classrooms, the big lecture halls. 1,000%. If it's more than like a minute, I literally will get up and move to the other side of the room. And then, like, when I sit down in an airplane and I'm like, shit, I made the wrong decision. Like, there's someone doing something over there. Oh, God, it is a big problem. It has altered the course of my life. That's so dramatic. But it really does affect me, and it's really sad.
We've talked about this numerous times, but I'm curious to find out if your threshold for noise tolerance will increase with a kid. I know his noises won't bother you because it's yours.
Yeah, he's like cute little baby noises.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if as he ages and makes more noises, if that will decrease your tolerance to other noises, or because you'll be overstimulated because you have so many noises at home, if your tolerance will decrease.
Oh God. I'll keep you updated. I don't know. It's stressful though.
Ooh. I did not really recognize that just when you have too many inputs that overstimulation is such a real thing until I got older. Sorry, Mom. There were so many times where she would be like, you guys have to turn the music off. I'm overstimulated. And in the back of my mind, I would be like, no, you just hate music. Turns out that wasn't true. It's overstimulation, and I get it. Because sometimes if I've had too many inputs in the day, I just need to sit in a cone of silence for a moment before I can do anything else. Don't touch me. Don't look at me. Anyway, I'm moving on to food categories. There's so many. There's so many foods that give me just gross, ick, pause, disgust. And what's sad is that some of them are also my favorite things. But I'm going to start off with when you're eating food and then you have one bite that might be a little bit sandy and the rest of the meal is now ruined.
Like actual sand particles because you live on the beach, basically. Yeah.
Well, vegetables. We all know I don't rinse mine. So that can happen. Seafood, shrimp can be that way with seafood. And I think sometimes that it might be in their poop line.
Okay, Leah.
I don't know. I just feel like that's possible. But I don't know. Sometimes it just seems like it happens. Probably the most it's that there's something in a vegetable.
You know what's funny? I don't mean to take us on a side tangent real quick, but I don't cook shrimp a lot because I will spend 30 minutes depooping it. I should get the depooper.
Yeah, just get them. But can't you just buy them already deveined?
They don't do the raw caught deveined, not fresh. I'll double check. I know, not at our HIB stores. Okay, my other thing is,
I guess there's less selection at a grocery store. I take for granted that I have options here. Okay.
The other thing is eggs. If you per chance happen to find a shell in my mouth, the tiniest, I mean a millimeter size shell, as soon as I feel one crunch, I immediately want to throw up and throw all my eggs out. I literally can't do it. It's one of those things where it's just like there's no turning back.
Me too, and it's so stupid because it's a shell. It's not even gross.
But it turns me off so hard. It's so gross.
Me too. I will gag. I will gag immediately after the crunch. Logically, it makes no sense that I can't stop it.
I feel sick right now. Why is this a problem?
It really is. That must be biological at some point. If something's off, then your brain tells you not to eat it so that you didn't die back in the day.
That's
true. I'm going to go with that. Okay, I don't know if you've ever had this, but lunch meat randomly will just have a weird vibe. And then it's poisonous.
You do have a very hard and fast, like, this is how many days we can eat it. And at that point, we will throw it away. I love that. There's been times where I forget because I don't keep track as well. And I open it and the slimy slime happens. And I immediately am like, well, this is not being consumed. It's so gross.
And see, I know that my lunch meat is fine because of my obsessive rules. But like the other day, I was making Jason a sandwich and I took a bite and there was nothing logically wrong with it, but something just tasted weird, or I had just eaten something beforehand. I'm not quite sure what it was that happened, but I immediately spit it out because it was so gross. Did I keep making his sandwich with it? Yes, because I'm pretty sure it was my problem, not the meat's problem, and he survived and didn't get the poop. So, but it was so weird. Something was slightly amiss. Not texture, not slimy. I mean, there was nothing wrong with the meat, but just it hit me wrong when I ate it, and then that was it. No more.
Going back to some sensory issues for Kayla again, I have two more I'll lump together, and that is what you just said about your mom and the overstimulation, the multiple audio inputs coming into my brain at one time, especially, honestly, it's any time of the day. If the TV's on and someone's on their phone, the two they clash in my head and it just becomes chaos. I can't delineate the two. Is that the word I'm looking for? I can't separate them. I literally will just pick up the remote and like, mute it. I'm like, hey, we can all listen to our phones. I just have to mute the TV because I can't do it anymore. Also, specifically with the chewing, people eating popcorn in a movie theater, I just want to cry. I want to cry. It's so like that first bite of popcorn. Every first bite is like a chip. There's this airy pocket crunch that just drives me crazy.
Wait, you're gonna have a no popcorn rule in your theater room?
No, because Kenny wants a really cute popcorn maker, which I love the idea of. It's my house, so I can get up. I can remove myself or something. Right. I don't know.
Well, and we've talked about the illogicalness of the people that we like the most not being as annoying.
And if I can see them eating, it's better at a movie theater, especially if they're behind me. It's something about being behind me and not being able to see. Why is there so much noise? If I can see it, I'm like, okay, that's where the noise is coming from. They don't know how to chew. I can handle this now because I can see it. I don't know. That's a thing for me.
The number of times in our childhood that I just would see you all of a sudden staring at my mouth, and then I would recognize I must be eating weird. But I think the beauty of our friendship is I would just look at you and say, Kayla, get over it, and then keep eating.
And everyone knows. They're like, sorry, Kayla. I'm like, okay, hey, at least we're all, it's a me problem.
And I'm like, it's a chip. My mouth is closed. I can't stop the chip from crunching.
I appreciate the thoughtfulness. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Okay, so I have one. Wait, what did you say? Okay, the noise thing. This was not, but this is, I think it's because the lovely, lovely men we're married have ADHD. Because Jason will do this, and it boggles my mind. I will be in the kitchen, which our house, it's spread apart because it's old. So kitchens were where you hid your wife, not where you had company. So I'll be back in the back of the house with my music on, cooking. And even sometimes my music and the vent fan is too much. And then over my music, I can hear the television and his phone. And then I will have to leave the room and put the TV on mute. I think he can tune it out. I think that's what it is he can just hyperfixate on the phone. And I don't even think he notices that the TV's on because he doesn't even say anything when I mute it, especially if he's really deep in a hole watching Harley exhaust pipe noise comparisons or something. But I just, even if, and then what's really insane is if we're laying on the couch and we're watching our own phones, sometimes we'll do that and then the TV will be on and I'll mute the TV, but I will keep my phone on low because it feels rude, but his will be blasting ass loud. And he wouldn't be bothered if mine were also loud. I just can't do it.
Our brains are different. Love the differences, but they're different. Yeah.
I had to learn that was a thing that he can do that I can't. And again, he doesn't care if I mute the TV. So, and if it's really, really loud, sometimes I'll just be like, hey, could you bump that down a couple degrees? Sir? Anyway, it's so funny. Okay, these are foods that for me can turn on a dime. I love them, but I can just be without explanation eating them and then want to just throw up. Number one is avocados. They can be going so well, and then all of a sudden, just something is the matter, and now I'm gagging. Next, yogurt. I have to really be in a good headspace to eat yogurt, and I can be halfway through and lose that headspace, and then vomit. Cottage cheese.
I can see that.
Again, it can start off really great, but sometimes if I serve myself too much, it's like I can only tolerate a certain number of bites. Banana is sometimes a problem.
Interesting.
I also just don't really like bananas. And then, as we've discussed, cold shrimp. I really love cold cocktail shrimp, but every once in a while, even without sand, they can just take a turn, and then I'm gone.
I will say about the banana, I didn't think about this until now, but you're absolutely right. Because sometimes in the morning, if when you have that weird empty stomach feeling in the morning, I'm like, okay, I need to eat a banana, but it's earlier than normal, and I will get about halfway, 3/4 of the way through my banana, and I'm like, I can't. This is so gross to me right now. Like my stomach can't handle it, and I'm like, you're right. You're absolutely right. I do the same thing with bananas if it's like early in the morning.
They all do it,
and it's a perfectly good banana.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the texture that can get me. I know that the smell of yogurt is absolutely horrifically disgusting to me. I just can't sniff it. before I eat it. I don't understand because I'll drink kombucha all day that basically tastes like you're licking the bottom of a vinegar pot. But yogurt freaks me the fuck out sometimes.
Because it's dairy. Oh, anyway.
Okay.
I got a few more, but my most important one that we have to not miss is, okay, any insect in large quantities that are very small, aka ants. I can't stand ants. You give me a big spider in the house, I will gladly deal with that over a bunch of ants. Oh my God. One time we had a little hole in our screen and we got a bunch of gnats in the house. I mean, everywhere. I literally was about to have a panic attack. I don't like the small things that come in numerous sizes or numerous whatever groups.
I've not known this about you. I think I would rather have a handful of ants than a spider.
No, because it's just kill and done. Ants are like, they're coming in for something. There's some more of them. Where are they hiding? Like, I can't see them. They're everywhere. It's probably something to do with my childhood, and I don't know. Just
those sugar ants, I don't have a problem with those here, but those are really annoying. I can empathize with that.
Thank you.
And you have to go find the source.
Yeah.
I'm almost done. I have a category of words that make me cringe. They're the agency, corporate speak, jib jab words, self-care. Concept, love it. Idea, it's essential. Word, if I never had to hear someone say self-care again, I could be so happy. Problematic. I find the word problematic to be highly problematic. Yeah. Oh, that's problematic.
Interesting.
No, it's not. You are. Next, offended. I've heard it's too much. I've heard the word offended too much. I've also heard the word gaslight too much. These are all lovely words with great meanings, but we've overused them to death, and now they make me gag. Last but not least, microaggressions.
Agreed.
I understand the concept. We need to be aware of each other in the workplace, but I've heard the word microaggression so many times that I'm going to have a macro-aggressive response.
That's beautiful. You know what a word that bothers me to my depths that is not corporate speak? And that is a word that I learned in 7th grade English class that I will never come out of my brain. And you've heard me say this, but it's overweening. Overweening. Overweening? What a weird word. Overweening. I can't even say it properly.
Some people hate the word moist. I don't have feelings about that.
It depends on the context.
Well, I mean, yeah, you could be describing something in a very gross manner and that could fit, and then
moist.
The nasties.
When you say it like it. Moist.
But I don't have strong feelings about it. My very last, well, you go, and then I have one more to wrap it up, which will intro me perfectly into my just the tip this week.
Okay, this is perfect. My best last one is... I don't know why this bothers me so much, but when you're driving and you're taking, let's say, a left-hand turn, for example, and I'm right next to you in the right-hand lane, don't move right to turn left. People don't know how to turn a 90-degree angle. Just turn your wheel. You don't have to come out to go over. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, in your Toyota Corolla.
You have plenty of turn radius.
It'd be one thing if you were driving a giant dually with a giant horse trailer on the back, which I'm sure there are plenty of in Texas, where you maybe need to make some room for your trailer to not clip the edge.
Talking about normal freaking cars just drives me nuts.
I see that all the time, especially to go just in neighborhood roads. I swing out a little bit in my driveway, I think, but not when anyone's coming. Okay. Last but not least, the thing that makes me cringe, barf, and disgust all at the same time is when the person that is cooking my food is drippy sweaty.
Kelly, yeah.
Even if I don't see any drips, even if the person's not sweaty, but the conditions are correct for sweaty, drippy. So food trucks for me in the summertime that aren't air conditioned are absolutely out of the question. Even
like a waiter, like bringing you your food. It's not even the cooks or chefs. It's yeah.
And honestly, God bless him, there's this one man at Target that's really, really sweaty all the time. And even just him ringing up my stuff makes me feel like there's going to be dribbles on my stuff.
So other people's sweat is the grossest thing.
I think I'd almost rather have somebody accidentally spit on me while they're talking than accidentally sweat on my stuff.
I don't know about that one. I'm equally disturbed.
Okay, well, that concludes what makes me want to die. But speaking of sweat...
Nice.
Just the tip. I was cleaning all weekend long. Cleaning, that's not true. Jason and I were doing yard work, and Kayla actually got me on this, but my just the tip this week is called Element, an electrolyte drink supplement. Is that the correct way to say it?
Yep. And it's not spelled out element, it's LMNT. Ow.
I'll pop up a little beep of the box in this when we're done, but it's so good. It's very salty. Talk to your physician first before making any changes to your diet. But I realize that I don't get a lot of salt because we don't eat a lot of processed stuff. I don't eat a lot of chips. I don't drink soda. And I was hydrated, but had no electrolytes.
Mm-hmm.
And this has made seriously a life-changing difference. Otherwise, I get woozy and low blood pressure-y when we're out in the sun sweating all day. And it was 101 degrees outside. And we were out there from like 9 until 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wow.
And I mean, I was tired from the work, but not drug out from the sun dehydration. So for the rest of you in the sweaties.
Yeah. Water's not enough sometimes. Postpartum, I talked to my chiropractor and she was like, "Are you remineralizing?" And I'm like, "I don't even know what that means." And she's like, "You need to drink something like Element or something with other stuff in it." And it helped my joints in so much. Watermelon.
Check it out. And until next week, I love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. You know what I forgot to say? That's an icky ick. When you are baking and you don't mix in the baking soda and you find a clump, and I just like muffins. I forgot to say that.
A baking soda clump and a salt clump. Just throw the whole cake in the trash.